listening to CinemaJaw, the greatest movies podcast ever, recorded on location from CinemaJaw Studios in Chicago. My name is Matt Kay, and with me is
Rod the Movie Guy, and sitting to my left is KP.
Hello, boys.
This week on CinemaJaw, Matt, it is man versus animal.
Hell yeah.
Human versus animal.
That's like every week here, though.
It really is.
It is.
But
that, a lot of those line up, but few lined up better than that one, Ryan.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
We are covering this because we're reviewing the new Planet of the Apes film, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And Matt threw this top five out. Let's do man versus animal. And I said, let's go with it.
Let's do it.
I tried to dig a little bit deeper and not go with like some of the
the heavy hitters?
The low-hanging fruit, if you will.
Okay. I got a couple of the low-hanging fruits, so we'll treat those as well. But I did keep myself to real animals.
So did I.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no, like, giant spiders. They're not real.
Right.
No giant ants.
I didn't even
All right, we got to call Ali.
Right. Well,
right.
Super giant.
I didn't even go dinosaurs with Jurassic Park, which is borderline.
Those are real animals.
I know, but
it's an honorable for me. Okay. Not on my list.
All right. So get thinking of that top five list, Jawheads. We will also be reviewing Planet of the Apes, and the Chicago Critics Film Festival just wrapped up. I'll do a quick recap of some highlights there and give a review of The Last Stop in Yuma County, which stars Jim Cummings. No guest this week, so we're playing Stump The Kubinski in honor of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We're playing Kingdom movie trivia.
Okay, thank God it's not Planet of the Apes movie trivia.
No.
We'll find out why.
Right.
That's some foreshadowing.
As we go on, but Kingdom movie trivia. Movies with Kingdom in the title.
In the title?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That narrows it down.
Yep, sure does. And it is still Viggo Mortensen month, and that's where we're going to start the show, is with a Viggo Mortensen fact. Hit it up, KP.
Yes. Okay. So we're diving right in as though we were. I want all of us to imagine we are Viggo Mortensen. I want us to step in his shoes and really method act, because that is what this man does. So he goes all in for every movie he's in, right? Like, we just played the clip last week, peeling back the screen a little bit. We were goofing on like how all in he went in it. In the post-apocalyptic movie The Road.
Ooh, I like The Road.
Okay. So the man goes like Christian Bale crazy, right? Machinist crazy. To look like a genuine survivor of the apocalypse, Mortensen would sleep in his clothes for weeks. He went on a diet that made him drop 30 pounds in the process. At this point in his life, he was in a bodega in Pittsburgh that booted him out because they thought that he looked like a homeless man. And he's just like, dude,
I'm the star of the Lord of the Rings.
I mean, to be fair, Viggo easily, in general,
he does
I
have
think
that look, yeah.
He looks like he's not keeping. For all we know, maybe I'm not doing enough research, and maybe that's just what Viggo's like. Maybe it wasn't for this movie. Maybe the method acting is the other movies, and this was just Viggo being Viggo.
Maybe he's really a homeless guy from Pittsburgh.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it. The Road, the book, is written by Cormac McCarthy. And
okay.
I remember I read the book, and
I
was
loved
like,
the book.
Yes, the book was like one of my favorite reads in a long time. It was like one of those kind of books. So then the movie can never really live up to it, but it's one of those. It's its own thing, It's a little bit different, but still worthy. If you haven't seen The Road, it's worth a spin. So
nice. That's how I feel about Ready Player One.
Yeah, right. It's different than the book.
Way different,
completely.
But it's its own thing.
Yeah, I've never went back and watched Ready Player One a second time.
I've watched it twice.
Have you?
Yeah.
Other than that first time we saw it at the press screening.
The scene, the Shining scene, it's worth the price of admission. It really is a great sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read the second one. I know you have also.
Yeah, it was okay.
I don't know if they're going to make a movie on that. Actually, can we throw it in the fish tank? Is there going to be a Ready Player 2 movie? I don't know.
It's been a while now.
I know that book came out 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, no, I don't mean it's been a while since the book came out. Since the movie came out.
Right. You think it may have lost its momentum.
Well, I don't know if it ever really got momentum. It wasn't a big hit.
Yeah, interesting. Hey, while we're talking
Steven
about
Spielberg, too.
Right, I know. While we're talking about Viggo Mortensen, I saw a Hollywood headline that they're making another Lord of the Rings, and Andy Serkis is going to be directing and Peter Jackson producing it, and it's called something like Searching the Hunt for Gollum. Throw it in the fish
Why
tank.
are they not going to Silmarillion? Well, I know why. It's because Silmarillion is
It's
like,
not a
I'd rather
story.
read the Bible. It
Right.
is so heady, but
It's not a narrative. It's a history
But
book.
put that in the fish tank also. See if you can find something on the exact of like what the story is of the new Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
that they're going to make. But I did see the headline. So
Listen, I mean, hey, I'm on board for more Lord of the Rings, especially with those names attached.
right.
But I'm worried, if
I know.
I'm being completely honest.
I mean, think how unmemorable the Hobbit films are.
well, yeah, they really failed,
You know.
which is a shame.
I
If they
know.
just made it one movie.
I know.
The
Did too
Smaug
much.
scene is great.
They did too much.
They did.
They really did. All right. We ready to roll on here,
Yeah,
Matt?
I could talk Lord of the Rings all day.
Let's switch gears and get to talking about some apes.
Yeah.
How about that?
That sounds good.
That sounds awesome. On the previous podcast, actually, when we were asked, interested or ignore on the new film Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I said ignore. Unbelievable. I was worried that changing directors and tackling a new storyline after just completing one of the better sci-fi trilogies was going to fail. I am so happy to report my worries were flat out wrong. Wes Ball stepped in and gave us an excellent new addition to the Planet of the Apes series. Matt and I swung in from the trees, grabbed some bananas for a snack, and checked out the latest Apes adventure.
Son, your father, he waits.
Much to learn, much to teach. There are dangers beyond our village. What a wonderful day!
The three previous films were all centered on Caesar and his arc of going from the first talking chimpanzee to the leader of the ape army. The new installment takes place generations after the last film. Caesar's influence is still present, but what he represents is different in the two groups of apes that we meet in the film. Our main protagonist this time around is a chimp named Noah, played by Owen Teague. Noah's village is attacked by a clan of apes they refer to as the Masks. Shortly after, Noah meets up with a human named May, who he is not sure he can trust, and also Raka, a wise old orangutan. Raka, played by Peter Macon, clings to the ideas of peace and coexistence taught by Caesar. From here, our adventure really kicks off. The CGI, like the other ape films, is very impressive. I loved it. The world building done in the film is actually far superior to the last three Planet of the Apes. Part of that is due to the fact that this one takes place generations into the future. Thus, we get this dystopian landscape filmed with remnants of a past Earth that is slowly fading away. One scene sees Noah and company inside an old airport, now overgrown with vegetation. I am a sucker for this kind of thing. It is why I like the 1970 film Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Not the greatest sequel by any means, but I love the discovery of the old human civilization in that movie. I do have some minor complaints, such as a couple very predictable beats, and the fact that May, played by Freya Allen, looks like a supermodel at times, all the while she lives in the wild. But those are some minor nitpicks here in a film I had a total blast with. Matt, shockingly, this was your first Planet of the Apes film ever. Being a new storyline, I think it was a good spot for you to jump in. How do you like the apes?
All right, before we get to how I feel about the apes, Ryan, can you just read the first sentence of your review again, please?
Of after we came out of the clip?
No, the very first, the intro part.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
On the previous podcast, when asked interested or ignore on the new film Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I said ignore.
No, the part where you were flat out wrong. I'm so happy to report my worries.
Yes, I was happy to report my worries were flat out wrong.
Oh, man, that's just really nice to hear you say. Flat out wrong.
You also gave it an ignore.
I did, but I just like hearing you say that you were flat out wrong. I wanted to make sure we recorded that, Ryan.
Oh my God!
Imagine how I feel as the one who was right.
Right, yeah, true. Kid.
I'm happy that I'm wrong.
I know.
That's why I went ignore almost, was so that I could be having this exact feeling right now. I'm elated that we have another great Planet of the Apes movie.
You're happy that you're wrong, and I'm happy that you admitted to being wrong. This was my first Apes film, as you pointed out. My expectations were lower than low. I was like, never seen any of the movies, probably not going to get it, not that interested. But I think the term I used when I leaned over my seat and spoke to you right after the credits started rolling was, that was dope as shit, which is pretty much how I feel about it. I think this was the best adventure movie I've seen so far in 2024. It just has that feeling of a journey, of a hero's journey. You know, he goes out, he meets the sage, he meets the princess in a way, you know, and there's an enemy that doesn't come in until the third act. So the movie is very unpredictable. You said that there were some predictable beats.
Predictable beats, but that's in the sense of like when they show you something early on, say like the training of the eagles that we'll get to.
Well,
like,
sure.
Yeah, so there were just a couple of those in there where it's like, okay, we see what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Right. Though that's what I mean by the beats. But I will say you're right. The plot of where the story was going had me guessing.
Had me guessing till the very end. Are there some predictable beats, as you mentioned? Yes. This is very much a Joseph Campbell hero's journey. And when they show the gun, they're going to shoot the gun, metaphorically speaking. The Eagles are a great example of that. There are some wonky CG moments. You praise the CG.
In general, you have to. Are there moments? Yes. But you got to remember, we're watching these CGI characters from start to finish. The whole entire movie. That's pretty impressive.
It is. There's a few moments in the opening scene where they're climbing that I thought were a little weightless. And then later in the film, you see some apes plodding around. And we're not talking apes in the background, main characters, and their feet don't look like they're connecting with the ground right. But I agree. This is a minor nitpick. And maybe my eye is just trained for that kind of thing nowadays. We're not talking like the end of Wonder Woman bad. This was very good CG. And dude, yeah. I am on board for the rest of the Planet of the Apes movies. What an introduction. This might be the best place for a new fan to jump on.
I agree because, like we said, it's starting, generations. It never says the exact amount of years, which I liked also.
I think it said 20 generations, though. I think it does give a number.
I think it says many.
Okay, you might be right.
Yeah, because I remember thinking smart. That way, they're not like held to this idea that, oh, it's exactly 100 years. Who knows how long the series is going to go on for.
The nerds are going to get their slide rules out and calculate exactly how many years have passed.
Right. But I thought that was a very smart move because we don't know exactly where this is going to go. It's clearly going more films. It leaves it.
It has to come full circle at a certain point, right?
But I don't know. There could be offshoots going on. Who knows? You know how Hollywood is.
Right. Beneath the planet of the kingdom of the... something else of the apes,
No
as
doubt.
long as it ends with of the apes, you're good.
So I mentioned that I didn't like the predictability of the beat with the eagles, this idea that no one in his clan trains these eagles. But the fact of the matter is that concept is awesome. I love that they were actually sending out these eagles. They could sing to them and call to them, and they would land on their arm. And there's just like a visual there of Noah on the horseback with his arm extended and an eagle that's just so badass looking.
It is badass.
It's like,
and you got to like remind yourself, neither of these things are real.
None of it's real, but it looks so damn good and just so cool. I'm like, yeah. I mean, these are chimpanzees that have trained eagles to sort of be their secondhand man in battle.
Right.
How awesome.
I didn't think I would sympathize with the chimps. And in the beginning, I didn't. It took me a while to connect with them. Not too long, but pretty much after the first battle, I was connected. But the first couple scenes, I'm like, I'm not going to get into these characters as people because they just seem too animal for me. But I did.
But eventually,
And kudos to the actors who put in all the little, like, the puffs of the cheeks and the little chimpanzee noises and the mannerisms. I mean, obviously, this is the kind of thing that Andy Serkis would bring to a film hardcore. Mm-hmm. these guys knocked it out of the park.
And I think Andy Serkis on this was a consultant.
Yeah.
Because he was Caesar, obviously, in the first three, but in this one, he's just a consultant. And yeah, you're right. It shows the CGI work as far as the motion capture, great. The world building, as I mentioned, just fabulous. Not only the decaying of the old human civilization, and we get like glimpses of like maybe an old bridge or a skyscraper and all this vegetation. I eat all that stuff up.
Me too.
But even the village, the concept and the visualization
the
of the ape villages and the different ones that they live in. You have the one where Noah's in the beginning with these like tall trees and the eagles up there where his dad's at. That's awesome. But then also that one on the coast of the water was really interesting.
There's a Mad Max-ness to
it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. It's very cool. And I like the borders of the village, the first village where Noah lives, how there's an old train tunnel, and that's like kind of a source of trouble, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And that's like the way in and out. Like old natural borders have like become overgrown. Like, so what used to be a wall or it's just fascinating to see the layer of old civilization there.
Definitely.
Just underneath.
Also the action sequences all around, pretty fantastic. A lot of times I complain that you can't necessarily understand every like small moment in an action sequence. This is not one of those. You really get, the idea and understanding of an action sequence as it's going through. So I appreciated that. And another highlight for me, William H. Macy pops up, not in chimpanzee form. I'm talking human form. William H. Macy.
It took me a minute to decide if that was William H.
Me too.
Yeah, I was like, is that William H. Macy?
Well, he had long hair, and I was like 90% sure, but not 100%. And then eventually it became obvious that it was.
Yeah.
But I liked seeing him there as well. And I think the where it left off, and we'll not go into spoilers here, but I think where it left off is a great spot for this series because I'm not 100% sure where it's going. It's
well, yeah. There's many different ways it could go.
Right. It gives us a direction and something to be excited about, but it's not like, oh, I see what's going to happen in the next one.
And as a noob, I can say that if I never see another Apes movie, that's okay. This movie is satisfying in and of itself. Mm-hmm. I've heard enough about Caesar, but I think even if I hadn't heard about all those other films and came into this completely cold, I would have been fine. And I knew just enough going in that I knew what Caesar was and who he was and everything like that, so he wasn't like too mysterious. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel lost at all, and I liked where it ended.
There's going to be some people out there that might say it's a little bit too simple. It doesn't have enough allegories or anything going on deeper. But I think that the fact that...
Do they usually?
A lot of times, for sure. Most times, I would say yes. The fact of the matter, though, that these two different groups both still sort of praise or look up to Caesar and his teachings in two different ways, I think is pretty good subtext. And you can analyze that as far as...
Yeah, it's like a Messiah thing. Like
exactly.
Misusing
like a Messiah for
your own personal gain.
Exactly. One's going to do it in sort of a destructive manner. The other one's trying to do it in like a peaceful manner. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So there's some subtext there, but you're right when you call it an adventure film. It definitely has that feel more than anything else.
Yeah. It was so much fun for that.
It really was. Let's get to a jaw-dropping moment.
Sure.
What do you got, Matt?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything, so I got to kind of tiptoe around this. But I will say that there is a spectacular eagle attack in the movie that comes at a very high stakes moment, and wow, that was really satisfying, really cool. It almost gave me Black Panther vibes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Yeah. So I just kind of love that moment in a movie where the underdog is being kicked around, and then suddenly he finds that inner strength, and like Rocky gets off the mat for the last time.
Yeah, a Hulk Hogan moment, if you will.
Yeah, shakes his fist, rips his shirt off. Like, I love that kind of stuff.
Good stuff. For me, I went with the opening tack on Noah's Village.
That was great.
Wow. I mean, it was really exciting kind of moment, great action sequence, and it happens early on in the movie. And what I liked so much is I had these nerves that I going in thinking the movie might not live up to my expectations, or I'm going to come out of here pissed off. And as soon as that action sequence finished, I knew we were in good hands. I was like, oh yeah, get relaxed. This movie rocks. I mean, from that point on, I knew we were aces.
Yeah, so this director, Matt, what's his name? Westball?
Westball.
Yeah, so he did the Maze Runner films, right?
Right.
Yeah, we were walking out saying, like, who is this guy? And then you came up with, he did the Maze Runner films. Talent. I'd like to see more from this guy. The Maze Runner films are not terrible.
No, I watched all of the Maze Runners, and yeah, you're right. They're not like I would highly recommend them to anybody, but if you're going to watch them, especially like I had to, as far as like, we'll check this out for the podcast.
Good sci-fi.
Yeah,
I've only watched the first one. I dug it.
They're pretty good.
Now I might catch up with the rest of them.
There you go. And now you can get into the Apes, you know?
I can get into the Apes.
Get excited for the Apes.
I might be getting a box set of Planet of the Apes.
So we like to do these.
True story.
We like to do these. That would never happen moment.
Yes.
And I'm calling you out here. You can't say that'll never happen. Talking chimpanzees.
No. Right.
Wait, there's 3 of them in this room right now. It happens every week.
Yeah. So, okay, can I go first?
Go ahead, Matt.
All right. So we both shared our that would never happen moments as we were walking out, and we pretty much had the same ones. So I am going with, at a certain point in the film, a character opens up a locker and there are a plethora of human weapons inside, right? And long guns, ammunition, all kinds of machine guns. I think I saw a submachine gun, right? The character comes back later and they are armed with a pistol, a 6-shooter, a freaking revolver, the weakest. Yes, it's easy to conceal, but come on. You're not going to take a rifle?
I know. That would never happen.
That would never happen.
It would never happen.
I mean, shotgun?
You would take something that has at least more ammunition.
Or, hey, 2 guns. You know what's better than a gun? 2 guns.
Right. Just that little 6-shooter? Come on. That would never happen.
That would never happen.
Never happen. So another moment in here is, you know, these are nitpicks, but this would never happen. There's a moment where these apes are trying to get into an area where these doors are locked and they cannot open these humongous vault doors.
It's very important that they get in.
And it's very important that they get in. And it seems like they've been working on this for quite some time, and they're trying to get in. This is not like it happened in 5-10 minutes. You get the idea that they've been there for weeks trying to open up these
Months,
doors.
maybe,
yeah. But they've been there for a while. And then what happens is Noah and May figure out that they can go in from a vent high up above that leads them in.
It's right around the corner.
Right around, up a little bit of a climb. But the monkeys are climbing everywhere.
That's what they do. They're monkeys.
That's what they would do. Somebody would be up there and they would see the vent.
Right? If you're trying to get in, you wouldn't explore.
Right.
That would never happen.
That would never happen.
That would never happen.
I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Come up with a better idea in the script.
Yeah, come on. Can we get a code that they have to put in? Something.
They just climb up there? What?
There it is.
That would have already happened.
Back
Come
door.
On. How about a movie poster quote? I went with this.
Go.
Yell it from the tops of the trees. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is another kick-ass entry in the series. Keep 'em coming, Westball.
All right. Yeah, I was on the nose as well. If you're new to the Apes, this is a perfect place to swing on board.
I'm going 3.5 Jaws for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, good call. That's where I landed as well. This is a 3.5 Jaw movie, whether or not you are a fan of the Planet of the Apes films.
There it is. We were wrong saying ignore, and I'm okay saying it, Matt. I'm fine with it. I was wrong when I said ignore.
Thank you for saying I was wrong in one sentence, so now I have it on tape, and I can put it on our soundboard and push a little button and hear Rye say, I was wrong.
There you go. But yes, summer movie season off to a good start here. Planet of the Apes rocked.
I just realized I said it too. God damn it.
I have so much power right now. I haven't said it once. I said I was right.
KP will get you. We'll catch you slipping.
So our top 5 in honor of Planet of the Apes is Man vs. Animal. And as we said, we're going actual animals here.
Yeah, real animals. You want to start or you want me to?
I'll go at number 5.
Okay, go.
So I went with a laugher at number 5. I thought this would be a fun way to kick off the list because right away when you think man versus animal, you think it's going to be a fight for survival.
Yeah.
Most times it is.
Sure.
But in my number 5 pick, one of the great scenes in comedic history is Ben Stiller versus Puffy, Mary's dog in Something About Mary.
I'm struggling to remember this scene.
Oh my God. So first off, he hears the dog behind the door. It's making some noise. And then he yells out to Mary, what kind of dog is it? And it ends up being like a small little dog.
Yeah, like a schnauzer or something.
And he ends up opening up the dog. He says, is that you? Is that you making all that
that's
noise?
right.
Boo, boo, boo. And then the dog comes right
Lunges.
after him. And then a fight breaks out. Mary's, I think it's her grandmother, that tan old lady.
No, I think it's just her friend.
Okay. She's watching it. They're both like horrified because the dog now starts attacking Ben Stiller. At one point, Stiller grabs the dog in a headlock and jumps up and lands on it. And they're wrestling for a while. Again, the dog eventually jumps down and clamps onto his groin area.
Yeah.
And he starts swinging around the room with the dog latched onto his crotch.
Yeah.
Absolutely hysterical. It goes on for about 2 to 3 minutes. It is just a flat out fight between this little dog and Ben Stiller. I watched it again today. It's clear as day a stuffed animal at certain times, but they don't even care. They don't even care that it doesn't look real. I mean, it's just like it's just a joke the whole time. It's hysterical. Something about Mary, I got to rewatch it. It's been years.
Me too.
Man, did I have a laugh at that movie. I remember seeing that in the theater and just dying.
Dude, that was a touchstone for our generation.
Huge,
I mean,
huge.
that was probably the biggest comedy of the decade.
Absolutely. And when I watched just the scene again today, I was like, my God, I don't even know the last time I saw it. 15 plus years.
Yeah, they tried to capture that lightning in a bottle the second time with Along Came Polly. Okay, not as good. We did get the shart from Brain Fart. My brain
Philip
just sharted.
Seymour Hoffman.
Thank you, Philip Seymour Hoffman. But other than that, the movie's a little lackluster. All right. Number 5, speaking of man versus animal, probably the best animal attack ever committed to film, digital film, The Revenant.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering if this was going to come up.
So great. The bear attack scene in The Revenant, if you haven't seen it, it's not what you're expecting. But I would suggest don't watch it. Instead, go to YouTube and look up Leo DiCaprio gets attacked by a bear accepting his Oscar, because that is freaking hilarious. It's just as good. But man, that is a brutal ass scene. Because like I think we've all been there, like hiking through the woods, probably somewhere you're a little unfamiliar with, bear country, and you hear a twig snap in the woods, and you're like, man, that could be a deer, or I could be about to die. And there's nothing you can do unless you have bear spray.
True.
And even then.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just such a vicious attack as well.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It really is.
Yeah.
It goes on for like 10 minutes, too. It is a vicious, vicious bear attack. So realistic and horrifying.
Good stuff for sure. I thought this would come up on your list. My number 4 pick is the movie Beast with Idris Elba. And it came out in 2022. We reviewed it here on the show. I only saw it.
I don't think I saw it.
And it is best said man versus lion.
Oh, right. Yes, that one. I remember. That was the COVID years.
Right. Yeah, it was just coming out of like COVID. It was still kind of like an odd release. Not everybody going to the theater. Idris Elba plays a dad. He's now a widow. His wife passed away, and he has his 2 daughters. And to get them sort of out of their sorrows, he brings them on a trip to Africa. And
like you do.
Right. And he has an old friend that is going to show them around, do a safari. And it ends up that these poachers are also going out and attacking these lions. And now the lions are trying to, I don't want to say get revenge, but now they are actually after
They're hunting
Idris
humans.
Elba's. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got some really... It's the kind of movie where you have moments where you're yelling at the character for doing stupid things, but that's part of the fun of those movies. Like, why would you get out of the car right then and try to do this? Right. Tons of that would never happen moments. But the fact of the matter is that it's still very intense when you got a lion outside of a vehicle and people running around through bushes and trying to get back into the car and so on and so forth. It's all done pretty well. Beast, one of those kind of like shocking...
Shockingly good?
Not like excellent, but shockingly like, well, that wasn't bad at all. It was actually pretty damn good. That's where it lands.
I love me some Idris Elba. All right. I have a movie from 1983 that scarred me to the point where to this day, I am terrified of St. Bernards. I don't care how dopey and sweet they are. I don't care if they have a keg of brandy strapped around their neck. I am terrified of St. Bernards because of Cujo. That image of the sweaty dog with this entire giant freaking head, because their heads are not proportional to their body, covered in blood. It broke me, dude. And I also had that exact same car. The famous scene in the movie is the mom and the little kid are stuck in a station wagon, and Cujo is outside walking all over the station wagon. Man, this is Old Yeller on crack. It is a terrifying movie. Stephen King, obviously. Cujo messed me up, dude.
That's a good one.
I don't even remember how they killed Cujo in the end. Do they? I haven't seen it since the 80s because it scared me, and I have never revisited it. Can we look that up, KP? Throw it in the fish tank.
I might be mistaking some of this with Pet Sematary, but it wasn't Cujo already dead?
No, he had rabies.
Okay.
Yeah, it is not a supernatural film other than the dog is supernaturally scaring to me.
All right, on to my number 3, and I was thinking possibly going Crawl, which is an alligator movie that we both like, and I thought maybe Matt's going to have that, who knows, but we've talked about Crawl, and I thought this is a good opportunity to talk about an alligator movie that I haven't brought up on CinemaJaw that's well worth a spin. Came out in 2007. It's an Australian thriller entitled Black Water, and it's a pretty simple premise. I believe it's like loosely based on a true story, loosely based on a true story. But the idea is that a couple goes out, the woman's pregnant, and I think they have her sister with her. There's at least 3 of them, and they go out on a swamp tour in Australia. And the boat breaks down in the middle of the swamp.
Yeah.
You hate when that happens.
That's never a good thing.
Never a good thing. And of course, there is a monster crocodile that is hunting them from that point on. And it's literally one of these movies that's like, 89 minutes long. And it's just about, can this, little group survive a crocodile out in the swamp? And the guy...
Everyone but the pregnant lady dies.
Well, the first person going is the scout that took him out on,
the driver of the boat.
Yeah, he's gone right away. Then you figure, oh, yeah, the sister was in this movie for a reason.
Wait, was she
gone.
mean at any point to anybody? Was she?
No, but you can start to figure out who's going to go and who's not. But it's a very...
Does the husband go?
I don't want to spoil everything here, but I will say that it's tense. Anytime you got a crocodile somewhat under the water coming at you, it's always a good time, good, kind of almost like a monster movie, but it's an animal movie.
Do you remember the crocodile fight scene from Crocodile Dundee? when he takes his, that's not a knife, this is a knife, and shoves it right in the crocodile's skull and then twists it? You remember that?
I don't, but it sounds amazing.
It was amazing. So we're on number 3 now. At number 3, I have Crawl.
There you go. I figured you'd have it.
So this was like one of those trashy throwaway movies where we were both like, let's just watch it. We don't have anything else better this week. We'll see what happens. And damn, was it actually a tight little thriller.
It was fun.
Decent special effects. Decent to very good, I might say. Special effects. Pretty well fleshed out characters. I love the set pieces with the flood and everything else. The whole thing is, it's Florida in a hurricane, and the streets of Florida get flooded, and that brings in all the crocodiles, or at least a few. It's not like Sharknado, stupid. These people are trapped in their flooding home, and there's a freaking crocodile in there they have to get by, or 2 or 3. It's pretty fun.
It really is.
It's a good movie. And they kept it just reasonably believable enough that it doesn't get into stupid territory.
Yeah, I agree. I've rewatched it, and it's fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
Decent hidden gem.
My number 2 pick, we go back to 1997. Ooh, what a time. Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin were in a movie together, and it is entitled The Edge. And I saw this, it had to be when it came out on DVD, which would have been like 99, 2000, somewhere in there. And I had rented this movie, and I was like looking for it to just be like total trash, because all I knew was this like fight scene of Anthony Hopkins and a grizzly bear.
Hand to hand?
Yeah, like I remember the bear like stands up, like in the trailer, it goes up on its hind legs and it's just staring down Anthony Hopkins. And I'm like, oh, I got to see this. And I ended up watching it. It's pretty damn good, much like Crawl, where you're not expecting much. And then it's like, oh, this is pretty damn entertaining. But the gist is that like a wealthy guy, Anthony Hopkins, his plane crashes down in like the Alaskan wilderness, and Alec Baldwin plays a photographer, and they also have an assistant with them. And they go out, and there's basically at this point a bear harassing them the whole way. It just won't leave them alone. There's at one point, I watched it today, there's a chase scene where the bear is chasing after Anthony Hopkins. I mean, he's running through the woods, and the bear is going through the trees at such a pace that it's just obliterating the trees, these small little thin trees, just knocking them over.
Saplings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just running them right over, right?
Yeah.
And then they cut to this wide shot that clearly is not Anthony Hopkins. At this point, it's like a stunt guy. Because the guy all of a sudden looks like Slim, and all of a sudden he dives into this
Like
bush.
he's jumping out of the way of a car?
Right. And he jumps into this like bush. But the thing that I was reading is this is no CGI. This was a live bear that was trained, that they used a lot in many movies and television shows. But not like The Revenant, where that was all CGI. This was a live bear chasing after people and so on and so forth. So for that reason, it has a little bit more realism to it. But if you get a chance, The Edge, it's a fun one.
You just made me think of a great honorable mention that I cannot forget.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah. So at number 2, yeah. Exactly. At number 2, we'll talk about it.
Right.
It's worth talking about. I'm going with 1977 Steven Spielberg Jaws. How do you not have that on this list? We're going to need a bigger boat. We don't need to talk about Jaws. One of the best movies ever made. Period.
It really is. Figured it'd be on your list. See,
Yeah.
I left you the low hanging fruit.
And you probably can guess my number 1, because who can top Steven Spielberg, right? That is a short list.
Right.
Especially, who can top Steven Spielberg, who has made an man versus animal movie?
I mean, you're probably only going with Hitchcock.
Probably.
Yeah. See how low-hanging fruit? I mean, I could have picked Matt's whole list off. My number 1, I very seldom have a Liam Neeson film ever on my list, much less
Nor should you.
much less at the number 1 spot. And this isn't Liam Neeson when he was,
Today.
No, I'm speaking in the past when he had some clout, like when he was Schindler and so forth. This was already at his point where he was making action movies, and this is a number 1. 2011, The Gray. Again, a movie I thought, geez, this looks terrible. It's Liam Neeson versus a pack of wolves. That's the movie. Again, a guy is coming from, I think it's like an oil gig that they're on, and they're flying out, and the plane crashes in the Alaskan wilderness, and it's just snow all around them. And this pack of wolves, the whole idea is how the wolves hunt and how they're circling the group. That's the whole idea and gist of the movie. And so basically, if you were going to put a movie poster quote, it's Liam Neeson versus a pack of wolves, and that's the flick. And it's awesome. It's literally awesome.
I have not seen The Gray. I should.
It is good. I'm positive it's fresh on the tomato, and I don't know that by looking at it, but I know it's got to be fresh on the tomato. Throw it in the fish tank.
All right.
And that's saying something. It's when it's a movie of just about wolves against Liam Neeson, and I know it has to be fresh. If not, it's got to be just below fresh.
I will tell a story that's somewhat related to this, not related to movies per se. But you guys, we are in River North here in Chicago, which if you're not familiar, it's sky-rise hotels, and it's touristy. Downtown Chicago, not the burbs. I go outside my office door. I was having a cigarette, stepped outside. A freaking coyote runs down Illinois, the street right outside my office. I watch it go from corner to corner, and I'm like, there's something you don't see every day. A freaking coyote in downtown Chicago. Wild, indeed. Literally.
Was there a roadrunner around?
No roadrunner, just the coyote. But it was weird, dude. You just don't see that every day.
No.
I went on Twitter to make sure I wasn't hallucinating, and other people were like tweeting pictures of this dog running with coyote running.
Dog.
Well, coyotes are dogs.
Okay.
Right?
I guess.
They're small wolves. That's what brought it to mind. Anyway, it was definitely a coyote. So they live in the cemeteries and stuff around here. My number 1 is The Birds, which Ryan spoiled.
Yeah.
But it's
I
Hitchcock.
figured.
It's Hitchcock. It's the best zombie movie ever.
That's what you always say.
Yeah.
Yeah. You love this one.
But there's new listeners, you know?
My number one was the gray. Matt's was the birds. So
Yeah.
who wins this one? Clearly Matt.
Cocaine Bear.
That was your honorable mention
Yeah,
that we
that's-
alluded to. Other honorable mentions I had was The Revenant, already talked about, Anaconda, which is actually a blast to watch. It's in that B-movie range of like, oh my God, this is just ridiculous and fun, and I enjoy Anaconda.
Is that Jennifer Lopez?
It is.
Do you suppose they casted her because of the Sir Mix-a-Lot lyric?
No.
Okay. Just had to be asked.
Yeah. She's been in a lot of quality films.
Yeah. You didn't get my joke, did you?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But no.
She has been in quality films. She did that Hustle movie just a few years back.
Right. And I mean, you go
underrated.
back. Yeah, there was that movie The Cell, which was an
Ooh,
you
I
know,
don't know about that one.
and then she was in Out of Sight with George Clooney.
She had a string of rom-coms that were mostly forgettable, but there were a couple of
Right.
decent ones in
The
there.
Wedding Planner.
Yeah.
Right. So on and so forth.
Jennifer Lopez can act.
Those were my only honorable mentions.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, I guess, could be.
Yeah. They're real animals.
Okay, we'll give it to you. Jawheads, if we missed your favorite man versus animal movie, shoot us a tweet at CinemaJaw, or our email is feedback@cinemajaw.com. Still to come, a recap of the Chicago Critics Film Festival, especially a look at the last stop in Yuma County, and some movie trivia. Stick with us.
Jawheads. I totally forgot that Viggo Mortensen played Lucifer in The Prophecy. You remember that? The religious horror Christopher Walken vehicle? But there he is, as Satan himself. Here's a clip.
Hello, Catherine. We must talk.
Oh my God.
God? God is love. I don't love you.
I can't do this.
I can lay you out and fill your mouth with your mother's feces. Or we can talk.
Are you one of them?
Them.
Are you an angel?
I am the first angel, loved once above all others. Perfect love. But like all true love, one day it withered on the vine. The winged party boy is about.
Sparkling drinks, it all colored dandy, 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 dandy.
And we're back on CinemaJaw. We are talking about apes. We're talking about animals. We are about to talk about the Chicago Critics Film Festival recap and the last stop before Yuma or something like that. But we threw a few items into the fish tank. Why don't we open it up, Ryan?
Wait a moment! It's fish! Isn't it?
DC! Wake up! Wake up! No, Pat, it's a giant glass bowl. Hey, get some fish folk.
Who's coming with me besides Flipper? Here.
That's a Sicilian message. It means local brassy sleeps with the fishes.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Thank you both so much. It feels good to be out, and especially this week because I am angry with both of you.
Oh my, what did we do?
Was it the piranhas? I am so sorry.
No, Fish vs. Fish is fine. It's a little off-brand for this week, but it's fine. Specifically, I'm mad at Ryan, who had a comedy pick and overlooked the greatest, and that was just one scene from a comedy pick, okay? A staple of my childhood is the Nathan Lane masterpiece, Mouse Hunt. I love Mouse Hunt.
I've never seen Mouse Hunt.
Wow, you just made me think of another one, but go on.
It is just like, it's very...
Willard.
Beethoven.
Beethoven is not against... Okay, he is a family member to them. Okay,
Well,
that's like saying Air Bud.
If you ask Charles Grodin, he might say something different.
God, right? The Mighty Ducks. There's so many sports movies, okay? You're so right. Air Bud. Air Bud is versing, but that's really animal versus man, if we're thinking about it. The point being that Mousetrap it's like Uncle Buck, but they're trying to stop mice instead of babysit children. And it's so good. It's not good, but it's so fun.
I mean, Nathan Lane sold.
Worth a spin. I don't know if it holds up. I haven't seen it since I was a wee child, but anyways, we do. That's enough gab because we only had 4 questions in here, and
oh, that's a lot.
It is a lot, and they are surface level, like pretty easy questions. But I got carried away as well. And some of that is because I didn't want to hear too much about, because I was the excited one about Planet of the Apes. Our first one, is there going to be a Ready Player 2 movie? Short answer, yes. It is confirmed happening. This was kind of one of those up in the air situations after the first movie. The book wasn't out yet. They were waiting to see, like Hollywood was like, I don't know, maybe if your second book's good. It did sell enough. Olivia Cooke, contractually obligated, so she is coming back. And Steven, who was kind of like
lukewarm on it?
Lukewarm because this is quoted, he had said it is the 3rd most challenging film that he had made, is coming back. We love to see that.
You're kidding me.
Wow.
We love to see that Steven loves a challenge.
Interesting.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, I didn't think that would happen.
I didn't either.
Wow.
Steve coming back. The book made enough money. Olivia Cooke coming back. So,
dude, have you read Ready Player 2?
Yeah.
You know who's in it.
Yeah.
The purple one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
That will
Grimace
be
from McDonald's, I know.
But
yes,
of course, that's who we're
shaking
talking
everything.
about.
They were preparing us for it.
But honestly, I don't want to go down the weeds on the Ready Player One, but the part of the problem adapting that book to the movie was getting the rights to all of the properties
with
that they
Steven
talked about.
Spielberg attached, you can get them.
But they didn't get all of everything, and they had to switch things. That's why they did. And I don't know necessarily if that'll happen with number 2 also. I would imagine they'll have to change things also. They're not going to get the rights to everything.
They also made unnecessary changes, but we could talk about Ready Player One another time.
Yeah.
Our second one, speaking of books turned into movies, it was just a vague, like, can we get some more info on the new Lord of the Rings movie? It is called The Hunt for Gollum. I think Ryan had said that, if not something close to that. The details are not fully disclosed on what it's going to be about. All we have is...
I know exactly what it's about.
Yeah, yeah.
Gandalf says, I chased the creature Gollum, when he's talking to... Anyway, go on.
All we have is a quote from the Warner Bros. CEO stating that it will explore storylines yet to be told. Now, okay, and this is the exciting part. This is what I got carried away with. I did find a 2009 fan film, a short film, 40 minutes, also called The Hunt for Gollum. Equally as original script, and this is highly regarded. This is top tier fan fiction. I didn't even hear about this, but apparently people loved it. Warner Brothers did a C&D on it, and they were like, nope, we got to shut this down. But
is it still available?
It came back. People were apparently so pissed that this film was taken down that Warner Brothers was like, all right, I guess we're going to put it back. People liked it that much.
Instead of ceasing and desisting it, they should just buy it.
So, and maybe that's kind of what they're doing. It's very unclear. For all we know, they are just adapting that 40. It's unclear. But I did put it in our show notes already, so we don't even have to worry about it. The link to the 40-minute YouTube, which you can watch for free, ready to go. We'll have our review
on the train.
Nice.
Yeah. Our next one, did they kill Cujo? And yes, Cujo, of course, does die. D. Wallace beats him up with a baseball bat and then shoots him dead.
Brutal. I blocked this out. That movie really did a number on me. It did.
I know.
Is there genuinely no connection? In my brain, there was definitely a connection. And I even looked this up because I was like, there's got to be a link between Cujo and Pet Sematary where maybe he got buried in it or something afterwards. There is no Cujo sequel.
That's freaking terrifying.
Yeah, it sure is.
It doesn't exist. So, you know, Hollywood.
You're probably thinking of Frankenweenie.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And I was like, I remember Cujo being black and white and a Wiener Schnitzel, no less.
Cujo is one of his short stories.
I do like Frankenweenie, though.
It's great.
It is a great
It's
one.
great.
Who doesn't love Frankenweenie?
Yeah.
You know?
Assholes.
True.
Our last one in here is The Gray, fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. And I gotta be honest, this was a painful one for me to search. And that's mainly, so this is a 2012
Don't tell
film.
me I'm wrong.
This was a 2012 film. And the reason it's painful is because I was the wrong one this time. A senior in high school version of KP remembered walking out of the theater and being like, that was just Taken with Wolves. I hated that. But it is 80% critics fresh.
80%?
80% fresh.
That's awesome. I thought we were going to hear like 65%. That's where I thought it would have landed. 80 is awesome.
Audience is 61, so critics are definitely looking more into this than the audiences are.
I enjoyed it. So there you have it. If you haven't seen The Gray, give it a spin.
Or don't.
Yeah. Well, we're still in the fish tank. Next week, we were maybe thinking about reviewing I Saw the TV Glow this week. I saw it at the fest. Matt couldn't make it out there that night, but I realized there is a way you can see it next week, and we can review that as our review next week. And then if you want to see Back in Black, the Amy Winehouse movie as well. If not, I might just do that one solo, and we'll have those two reviews.
I don't like
Back in Black.
Winehouse. Giving me the look.
Shame.
Back to Black is a great record.
It
I don't
sure
know
is.
what you are talking
One of
about.
the
I don't know
best.
what you are on about. You are so alone in this. The Lioness is an incredible document. I am offended.
No, she's overrated.
Mark Ronson is. I will give you that.
I don't know, man.
So,
Whatever.
Back in Black, I definitely am seeing, and like I said, we'll have a review of I Saw the TV Glow, which, if you saw my Letterboxd, big fan.
I didn't.
I'm a big fan.
I stayed away from your review. I want it to be fresh.
That is what we're looking at next week on the show. KP, jump back in there.
You bet.
I did want to say a quick recap of the 11th annual. Can you believe 11 years they've been doing
it's
this?
crazy.
11th annual Chicago Critics Film Festival took place over at the Music Box. I saw a total of 9 films, getting out there 5 of the 7 nights, and I saw 9 films. So many good movies. Many critics out there that I saw. I saw our friend David Fowley, Pat McDonald, Brian Tallarico, Eric, Steve Procopi, Pam. Ran into Pam. She did a Q&A, and then I got to talk to Pam afterwards.
I saw Pam recently.
Andrea, the learners were out there. One person that I didn't see out there the whole entire week was Matt Kay. I missed him.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's 2 people on this show who didn't make it.
Yeah.
Missed Matt Kay. But highlights here. As I mentioned, I Saw the TV Glow. Showstopper.
That's the one.
Yeah, packed Music Box. Definitely one of the best screenings experiences I'll have in 2024. It was just awesome. One of those moments. They kicked it off with this movie Sing Sing, which is A24 and stars Coleman Domingo.
Oh, that's the animated one with the singing animals.
Not to be confused with that one. No, this one's almost like a cross between the Shawshank Redemption and Theater Camp.
Oh, that's Sing Sing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're in a prison called Sing Sing, and the idea is this program that they do for the inmates to get them to do plays and understand art and so forth. And then they put on these shows, I think, twice a year. And the movie, besides Coleman Domingo and a few other actors, Paul Risi also was fabulous in the movie. But besides just a few of the actors, the rest of the cast is actually made up of inmates who went through the actual program and now have been released. And they came out and they gave this fact, the director had talked about it, for people who go into prison and come out, there's something like 70% actually go back into prison.
Yeah.
People who go through
Recidivism?
People who go through this program, it's less than 3% that ever go back to prison. It's something about learning about other characters, getting in touch with your emotions.
It's an empathy machine.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And I mean, I had tears in my eyes. Standing ovation, packed house at the Music Box. It ended, everybody up on their feet standing. It was awesome, really, to behold.
Wow.
So check that one out. It comes out in about a month or so. Ghostlight, which closed the show, another great one, also has to do with theater, with a grieving parent the dad, well, I should say both, the dad and mom, and the dad gets involved in a local theater production of Romeo and Juliet. Sniffles throughout the entire theater.
Tearjerker?
Tearjerker like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I said I actually wept. I wouldn't even go, I got choked up. I wept, openly wept. Cuckoo, which is Dan Stevens inside a new horror movie, which is awesome. Great sound design in the movie. You'll like that one. It's
Bonkers.
a little wacky. Not everything makes sense, and it doesn't fully come together. So it's not like a 4-jaw movie, but it's solid. And the other highlight is a film that is available via digital rental right now. It is called The Last Stop in Yuma County.
Did you hear about the bank robbery this morning?
Hell are they doing over there?
It's the car.
Hang up. Pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you.
I had a rich old uncle.
Hey, Charlotte. You're gonna go about your day just like any other day. Hey, darling.
He said that when he left, all his money would be mine.
What happened to your phone cord?
You're so smart.
If you try anything stupid, I'll shoot you in the face. Understood?
You learn something new that very day.
The Last Stop in Yuma County is a throwback to the late 80s, early 90s crime films. Think something like Fargo. It actually has a young Tarantino vibe to it, and I totally dug it. The premise is fantastic. Set in either the late 60s or mid 70s, it's never really said, travelers stop at a small rest area in Arizona to get gas. But the gas station tanks are dry, and they're waiting for a gas truck to come later in the day to replenish their supply. Because there is not another gas station for 100 miles, the owner of said fuel station tells travelers to wait it out in a small diner next door. The first to arrive is a knife salesman played by Jim Cummings. His knives are going to come into play. Of course that's going to happen. That's not a spoiler. As soon as you see them in the movie, you are supposed to know that they are coming out later. The next set of travelers turn out to be bank robbers who police are looking for. We also have an innocent couple who stop in. The film boils up to a violent burst and then turns into a dark comedy of sorts. I have to say it again. Jim Cummings rocks. He is amazing in Thunder Road and the beta test, and he elevates this film into something special. With a quick runtime of 90 minutes, the film's simple plot does not overstay its welcome. Matt, you will love this film. Jawheads, you will love this film. And again, the best part is you can rent it at home right now. Don't sleep on The Last Stop in Yuma County. It is a hidden gem of 2024.
Excellent. Did you do a jaw-dropping moment for this one, Ryan?
I did not. I only wrote down a movie poster quote on this one.
Let's go right to the movie
poster quote. I went with Yuma County is as sweet and tasty as rhubarb pie.
Okay. That's an Easter egg for the people who have seen it. How many jaws are you giving this thing?
This is also 3.5 jaws.
Okay. Young Tarantino vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It definitely has those
That's
vibes.
A strong recommendation.
And Winnie the Pooh?
I just want to say, I'm shocked it's not getting a bigger release. It's that good. Like I saw it and I was like, man, when does this come out? And I was talking to a different critic after it ended, and they were like, well, it's getting like a small theatrical release, and it's also going to be available for VOD instantaneously. And I was like, what? And then they're like, just a smaller movie. And I'm stunned. I hope people check this one out because it's super entertaining.
Do you think it'll gain that momentum?
I hope so. I think as people see it, like everybody that saw it, it was actually Al Lerner. I was talking to the Learners, and he asked me.
He's a tough critic.
He is. He's a tough critic. He had saw it on a screener because they were going to interview somebody for the film. So he had saw it early, and he said, are you staying for Yuma County? And I said, on the fence, because it was a late screening, and I was seeing a bunch of movies that day. And oh man, it was starting at like 10:30, which really means starting at about 10:45 because all the little things they do in the beginning. And so I thought, man, oh man, I don't know. We'll see if I'm going to stay. And he's like, you gotta stay. This is like a movie made for you and Matt. That's what he had said. It's made for you guys. And I was like, all right, he's convincing me a little bit. I'll check it out. And he's totally right.
Wow, he convinced me.
You're going to love this one.
Okay.
Last Stop in Yuma County. So much fun.
All right.
So
I mean,
check it out, Jawheads.
I mean, who doesn't like Jim Cummings?
Yeah, he's great.
I just found this out now. There are 2 Jim Cummings. This is not the voice of Winnie the Pooh.
No.
That is
Is
so
that what you
confusing. That is so confusing.
When you threw the other one out there, when you said Winnie the Pooh, I was like, I missed the reference, but I was not sure. You were talking about the different
voice
Jim
of
Cummings.
yeah.
No, this is the new younger version, Jim Cummings. He's awesome.
Yeah. Not to be confused with the voice of Winnie the Pooh.
They usually have to change their names. So
Michael
that
B.
people don't
Jordan.
know. Right. Or throw a letter in there. Right. All right. Last thing we have to do is play some trivia.
Let's do it.
No guests, still. So it is Stump the Kubinski, and we're playing Kingdom movie trivia. You need 3 or more correct not to be stumped.
I still roll through in my brain when Eric Childress said, I play trivia every week, man. Like, so do I. I still lose.
And not only lose, you lost 8-0.
Yeah.
That was great.
Still reliving that, yeah.
That's
All
really
right.
good. I didn't even think about that.
Question number 1 in Kingdom movie trivia. Are you ready, Matt?
I'm ready.
All right. No money on the line this time. It's just straight up having fun.
Oh, we could go for a beer?
Well, we do have beers here. How could
I know
you say
you
that?
bought the 6-pack,
Yeah,
and
of
that's
course I
very
bought
nice
the
of you.
6-pack.
But what do you mean, of course? I could have
I'm
gone around
having
the
a cheers,
corner. Oh, okay.
cheers with you before you start. There
Cheers.
you go.
Well, I was going to
Cheers.
say the first round at the pub.
All right. Oh, yeah. Pub. I think I'm buying no matter what. Here we go. Question number 1. Matt, Moonrise Kingdom is the 7th feature film from what director?
I should know this.
Absolutely, you should. Moonrise Kingdom is the 7th feature film from what director?
Wow, KP knows.
I know.
Yeah.
KP's... Everybody listening to this is like bewildered. They're like, wait a minute.
Literally not that long ago, we talked about this human being.
Yep. On the
Literally.
show.
It wasn't on the show. It was before.
Oh, it was before we hit record?
recording.
Oh, it was before
But it was
we
today?
recorded.
Yes!
Give me a hint.
Nope.
Come on.
That is your hint.
That's your hint.
I think we talked about one person.
Because we were talking about Jim Jarmusch when we were talking about that. And it's not Jim Jarmusch.
Wes Anderson?
That is correct. That was a good enough hint to rekindle.
Yeah.
One correct on Matt. Question 2. Name 3 people who appear in Indiana Jones' Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
3 people?
Yeah,
like
3
the
actors. Yes.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Shia LaBeouf.
1.
Harrison Ford.
2.
And Kate Blanchett.
Well done. We also would have accepted Karen Allen, Jim Broadbent, among others.
Yeah.
All right. 2 for 2, Matt.
Jim Broadbent?
He's in there. He's good.
I don't know who he is, but that's a horrible last name.
Jim Cable's way better.
Yeah.
How about Jim Cummings?
Jim Cummings is also good.
Which one?
Question 3. Are you ready, Matt?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Who played Aquaman's brother in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom?
Oh man. Yeah. That's Night Owl and Vera Farmiga's partner in all the Insidious movies. And his name, he looks so good in that movie. Like when he comes, he's all frail.
buff.
Yeah, and then he gets out of the water and he's all like swole again. He looked great. It's not Jim Cummings, right?
No.
Okay. Oh shit! I was just talking to my mom about this guy. I'm like, you should see the new Aquaman movie. His brother, I think you'd like him.
He's really buff.
Yeah. Well, she's a fan of those movies for obvious reasons. Jesus. Oh.
We need an answer here. Aquaman and the Kingdom, the Lost Kingdom.
Yeah, the guy's name is Jim Terry.
We're looking for Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson, yeah. Just, it's really hard when you're in the hot seat, everybody. That's what it is.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. We're on to question 4. You need one of these 2.
Sometimes your brain's in gear, and sometimes the gears are just grinding. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yours are usually grinding.
Usually.
Yeah. Number 4, Matt. Name the 2005 Ridley Scott movie that starred Orlando Bloom, Liam Neeson, Edward Norton, and Eva Green.
2005?
Righto.
Man, I can't put that cast together one more time.
Ridley Scott directed.
Yeah.
Orlando Bloom, Liam Neeson, Edward Norton, and Eva Green.
I have a strong feeling KP would have beaten me all to hell this week. Or maybe you're just having a great time. Is that why you're smiling?
I'm just having fun. I have no comments.
Okay, all right.
I would not have been stumped by the first three, though. I will say that much.
I got two of them right. Orlando Bloom and Liam Neeson in a movie together.
With Ed Norton in there.
With Edward Norton?
How could it be? You're not going to get this one.
No.
Because I don't think you know this movie that well. We're looking for Kingdom of Heaven. I've been meaning to rewatch it. I watched it and I was not impressed. Like a lot of people didn't like it as well.
That's a shit movie?
No, but then he did a director's cut, which I have not seen, and a lot of people love the director's cut. So, in fact, it's like such a popular one that even on streaming services, they have like both, or they'll make a big deal. Like Netflix has now got the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven. So it's supposed to be a big enough difference where, you know.
The studio should just let the director put out his cut.
Well, especially if it's Ridley Scott.
Right.
You know what I mean? Jeez, come on, guys.
Yeah, you didn't learn the first time?
Right. Here we go. Setting the drama here. You need this question not to be stumped. He has two right. He has two wrong. Question 5.
Good thing I still have all my lifelines left.
Matt, here you go. Give me the full title of the 5th Jurassic Park film. It is the second one that starred Chris Pratt. Give me the full title.
Well, I really want to say Beneath the Kingdom of the Planet of the Jurassic Park. But I have a feeling that that's not right. Jurassic Park. Okay, this is what I think it is. Jurassic Park, The Lost Kingdom.
Is that what you're going with? So what you're saying is it's actually the same title as Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom.
Oh, really? Wow.
You missed the colon.
Semicolon?
No, it's a colon.
It is. It's a full-on colon. No semicolon. Okay, so that can't be it. That cannot be it. It cannot share a name with an Aquaman film. Jurassic Park. It just feels right though, doesn't it?
It does.
Isn't that one of the books?
There are books? There really are?
Yes, there's
Sure.
Jurassic Park books. What are you talking
That's what
about?
they're
By
all
Michael
based on.
Crichton?
Hell yeah.
Oh, geez. Shows you what I know.
Yeah. Where have you been?
Did you read them?
No, but I
very
Well, there you
popular.
go. I mean,
I'm pop culturally literate.
They
I
were-
know that Michael Crichton wrote the Jurassic
Yes.
Park.
This is all very true. We need an answer here, Matt. Take a guess. Take a stab.
I'm guessing Lost Kingdom is wrong.
That's the title?
No.
Oh.
Jurassic Park, Kingdom of the Lost. No, Kingdom of the Dinosaurs? Yeah, what is it?
We were looking at Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom. It's a stupid title.
Matt is stumped this week. You totally blew it, Matt. That's what it is.
You blew it!
I mean, I'm sorry. You blew it.
Screw you, De Niro.
Good times.
Good times.
You came close, and you came out of the gate on fire.
No, I didn't. I got
You
the
had
first
the
one
first
wrong.
two. First two you got right.
I got the first one wrong.
No.
First
I
one
gave
was
you the clue. Wes
We
Anderson.
gave you.
Oh, Wes
We fed
Anderson.
it to you with the Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah, you
Shame
did.
on you, Matt. Shame.
I'll take a win wherever I can.
Brings us to the end of a very fun, entertaining Jaw. Now we go to the pub, and I get a free beer.
That's true.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. First and foremost.
You did bring this beer, though.
Yes. First and foremost, we got to thank our producer, our editor, KP.
I would not want to be anywhere else. We are recording not on Thursday, but Friday this week. And 2 updates. 1, I completely forgot this because of Viggo Mortensen and because it's technically we were recording in April. It just released in May. But happy AAPI Heritage Month for all my fellow Asian Americans. And I have a Pancakes and Booze coming up on June 29th. Always a very fun time.
I'm putting it on my calendar.
And dare I say,
now.
I might even be bold enough to say, for Patreon, I can commit myself to watching The Hunt for Gollum, the fan movie. Obviously, we don't have the 2026 movie.
But you said we're putting it in the show notes.
Yes.
But we're also having a review of this short film. I got 40 minutes to kill.
Hell yeah.
Subscribe to us on Patreon. GD it.
All right. If KP threw that down, I'm in.
I'm watching it.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm in. That's fun. We also got to thank the Patreons, as KP just mentioned. Thanks for supporting the show. It means the world to us. We're doing a lot of fun extra stuff. So go over to patreon.com/CinemaJaw. Join the family of Patreons.
They are the lifeblood that flows through the very veins of CinemaJaw.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Keeps the show going.
It does.
It really does. And then also, if you want to support the show without going to Patreon, a simple way to do it is just leaving us a review, a star rating, all that good stuff, or tell a friend. Next time they say, hey, got a good podcast to listen to?
That's a good idea.
CinemaJaw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I see that every once in a while on Twitter. There's people that say, we'll get like a notification that we were a mention. And I noticed that somebody's saying, you got any good like movie podcast? And one of our fans says CinemaJaw. It always makes me happy. Like, yeah, people are looking out for us. It's nice.
It makes me happy too. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Absolutely. Until next week, I'm Ryan the Movie Guy.
I'm Matt Kay.
And keep on jawing about the movies.